not too sure how I didn't hurt myself worse on this hike. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're covering a combination of trails in Palomar Mountain. If you've never been, Palomar Mountain is probably the closest thing we have to like I don't want to call it a wannabe Sierras because that's like an insult. It's a beautiful place. It's got big trees, meadow-like hikes. It's really like the closest thing to the Sierras that we have, I think, down here in SoCal. Anyways, today we're covering Boucher Trail and Scott's Cabin Loop. It's a little bit under 4 miles. And as always, we'll cut into the B-roll and we'll talk about how to get here and what to expect if you plan on hiking in Palomar Mountain, especially around wintertime, because it is a little bit different. You know what? Hold on one second.
Is brought to you by pronouncenames.com. Boucher.
Boucher. I've been saying Boucher this whole time. Let's cut into the B-roll. You guys enjoyed that. Parking whenever there's snow in Palomar Mountain is insane. Make sure you get up there early, and let's talk about what you need to know if you plan on heading up here. All right, Boucher Trail and Scott's Cabin Loop is a 3.4 mile moderately traffic loop trail located at Palomar Mountain. and features beautiful wildflowers and is rated as moderate. Trail offers a number of activity options and is accessible year-round. I will say with the weather here, there was a bunch of big trees that have fallen over and made parts of this trail a bit more difficult. So if you're somebody who maybe feels like you might struggle climbing over some big trees, you may want to check in with the rangers before you head out. As I mentioned, this hike is 3.4 miles. I clocked in a little bit longer, a little bit under 4 miles. Elevation gain 767 feet. Route type is a loop. There is a small fee to enter. It is a state park, so it is $10 per car. Make sure you have that. You won't miss it. As you drive in, you'll see the ranger station, and that's where you pay. Let's talk about how to get here. So very easy. The place where you want to park is called Silvercrest Picnic Grounds at Palomar Mountain. There are some bathrooms and a little loop. If there is parking, you'll want to park here. And as I've mentioned before, I won't go into too much detail. I've made a different Palomar hiking video. There's technically three main ways to get up here. 2 of them are paved. So you have this S6, which is probably the way you want to head up, or depending on where you live, you'll take this E grade road, the S7. There's also the Harrison, which is a dirt trail. So I'm not going to talk about that up here. That is a pretty rough road. Or I jump into the connected trails that we took. I want to point out again, if you go during the winter time of the year, roads get pretty icy. And Palomar Mountain definitely takes more precautions than some other state parks I've seen. Silvercrest Picnic was absolutely the farthest you could go into the park. I said, hey, if you have all-wheel drive, whatever it is, can't you make your way down? Our original plan was to go down to Doane Pond and do some of the loops around there. And the ranger told me, look, we account for the lowest common denominator. Basically, the ranger said we have to make rules based on the biggest dumbass we'll get all day. And we block off all the roads for that reason. Very limited parking. If you plan on heading up here for snow, you may actually have to hike your way down to Doane Pond and do some of the weird loops, those kind of trails down there. You will not be able to drive down. So that is one big distinction about heading here around snow time versus your regular spring, summer, fall. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about the connected trails that we did. So as you park at Silvercrest, the first thing you want to do is head up to Boucher Trail Lookout Tower. This is an absolutely magnificent spot for sunset. You are so high above, you get some really, really nice views. You can actually drive it, not in the wintertime, but normally you can drive this loop, kind of park your car up here. If there's somebody in the tower, you can head up there and check it out. Absolutely great photography spot for sunset if you're thinking of heading to Palomar. As you check out the Fire Lookout Tower, you'll spot that the trail continues off to the side here. From here, off the road, you'll continue on to Boucher Trail. A very beautiful part of the hike here. A little bit icy when we went, but it was absolutely gorgeous. You'll loop back around and eventually you'll cross the Nate Harrison grade, this dirt trail I mentioned earlier. Very nasty trail. Again, up to you if you're gonna head down or up this. This technically then turns into Adams Trail. However, there is nothing that really explains much about Adams Trail, how long is it, etc. I'm even looking at the paper that the ranger gave me while I was there. Adams Trail isn't even on this. So it's not really a trail in itself. It's really just the connecting point between Boucher Trail and Scott's Cabin. So you'll continue on to Adams Trail all the way until you get near this eye. And this is where the Cedar Grove Group Campground is at. Very enjoyable hike all the way up to this point. You can see, actually it's right here before, it's on this road. So this is where the campground will be, and then it splits into 2. You'll walk on this, and then from here you could split left into Cedar Trail, or continue and you'll be now on Scott's Cabin Loop. Scott's Cabin is one that I also covered last time. Very beautiful, especially around fall time. You get those orange leaves before they fall. Really, really beautiful. And then from Scott's Cabin, you'll want to make a right before you hit Chimney Flats Trail. You won't miss it. This part goes up and down, so it is a little bit slippery. Just be aware of that. But you want to cut right and then cut back straight into the Silvercrest picnic area. Hope you guys found the explanation useful. Very kid-friendly, again, except for some of those areas where you're kind of hopping over some big trees that have fallen over. No dogs, because this is a state park. Remember that. No dogs. And I'll leave it here for this one, a little bit longer, but I wanted to go through all those details with you guys because it is a day trip to head up here and enjoy the time, and you might as well know what you're getting yourself into. With that said, make sure you follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/beautyiswild with 2 eyes. the YouTube channel at youtube.com/beautyiswild with 2 eyes, and the website at www.beautyiswild.com with 2 eyes. I will see you guys soon. All right. I wonder if I drink too much coffee.